Mr. Gearhart is right, of course, that we don't know everything, and that humility is a virtue. But the other thing that's a virtue is expert judgment. And as you know now, because we've all been talking about this for a while, there are tens of thousands of these fields in the environment. And the only problem with them is an infill that you are not using. The breakdown that is it Robinson? I'm sorry, Mr. Robinson is worried about is correct, but it's correct for crumb rubber. And that's not an issue here. So as I have said, and as I hope you all remember, that's the controversial aspect to synthetic turf fields, is using recycled car and truck tires as an infill, which is not a good idea, and which you as a commission rejected years ago. And once you rejected that correctly, once you rejected that, and once Mr. Huntress found for you an infill that is literally cleaner than dirt, literally cleaner than dirt, to my mind, the chemistry argument stopped.
My question was actually on the fibers themselves. It wasn't on the infill. And I would note, and I was reading something that you had written in 2017 for another turf project, Dr. Green, where you were actually advocating the safety of crumb rubber. That's not that long ago. So I think recognition that science is a moving target, as Jeff Gearhart is illuminated for us, is important.
You are both correct.
I want to know about the fibers themselves.
Okay.
Do they break down with UV light?
Okay, you are correct. No, the fibers do not break down. And I mean, think about it. These companies are in the business of making, the toughest turf that they can so that they can sell it at a premium price and not have to replace it every year. I mean, think about it. It's like, I mean, why would they not try to optimize their products? They're in a competitive space, okay? If they make a synthetic field that breaks down in 5 years, but their competitors make fields that last for 12 years, who's going to buy the 5-year field? I mean, think about it, my friend. Think about it, okay? The crumb rubber is what breaks down and forms microplastics. And by the way, it is safe for players. It is safe for players. What it's unsafe for are fish.
That I'm more interested in the amount of degradation that the fibers that we will be using.
And they don't. And
they do break down at some point, right? I mean, they're going to replace this in 10 to 12 years for a reason.
Yes, and the reason is not breaking of fibers. There is going to be a little bit of bleaching, okay? The color is going to go from, bright green to less bright green.
That's the reason to replace the field, because the color isn't right?
No, there are things that break down over 10 or 12 years, but it is not bits of fiber going out into the environment. That's not what happens.
What is it?
Okay.
Well, I think Chris Huntress or someone who does this for a living would be better able to answer that than I. I know what doesn't happen. I'm not completely sure I know what does happen.
Thank you.